Uh, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. Hey, my name is Binoy Sasidharan. So I'm basically southern from the southern part of India, which is Kerala. So I did my studies, everything there. Then most of my career was abroad, whether it be Germany, Singapore, Canada, or back to Germany. So a lot of experience with Germany. So about so then my career was more within IT, right? So basically, I used consulting as well as then within industry, a lot of experience with respect to IT and transformation. But apart from that, my interests are also with respect to supporting other companies to set up their units within Germany, as well as also doing something of my own also into the passion part, right? So this was something that I always used to do. And apart from my professional, so family life is my wife and two children. So I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. So enough challenges
Okay.
at home also. So this is basically me. So, but in Germany, I'm primarily for the last eight and a half years based in Munich. So previously to that, sometime like 5 years in Stuttgart and another four and a half years in Düsseldorf.
Okay. That's nice. So you're saying that you work in India, Canada, and Germany as a different countries, right? So what actually motivated you to work in Germany? I mean, what motivated you to settle in Germany only?
So one of the bigger things, so like for example, when I started off my career after my bachelor's in electronics and communication, right, so engineering. So I had a strong friend who was actually working in Germany as part of Citibank. So he was running a
Okay.
transformation program, uh, and through him, I first came to Germany. So my first impression to an outside country working was actually Germany. So somehow I like the work culture as well the practice that they follow here, except for the big works council and all the things. But people
Okay.
actually value a professional as well as there is actually a segregation between a professional and a personal life. And
Okay.
people really value that when you have a personal life, they really value that time. And this
Okay.
was something which I really liked. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, then even when I came back to India, I worked with IBM for like 2 years, and then in Canada with IBM for another 2.5 years. What I felt is like that value of life, right? People value in
Mm.
your personal life that you have a separate life of your own is
Oh,
less
yes.
compared to Germany. So that is what actually made me come back to Germany again. And to see this stretch, it is more or less like 13 years now for me with Germany. And this
Oh,
is a wonderful thing which I like about Germany, right? So the thing is, you can actually always separate your personal life and your
mm-hmm.
career. So in your career, you have good growth prospects, as well as on the other side, when you go back to your family, you can completely separate it out.
Okay. So you can see the in Germany, the personal life and the professional
Yeah,
life will
the
be
work-life balance
balanced.
is really, yeah,
Okay, that's cool. I want to share to others that if you guys also have any questions in this podcast, please, if there is option of raising hand, please raise hand and so you can ask, or else you can first drop a message, then we will see the pop-up, then we will ask you to take the initiate and ask the question. Hope I think everyone got the concept of this meet. Yeah.
super.
Thank you so much. So my next question is that what is the biggest culture difference you saw in the different types of countries and in Germany? I mean, how which culture actually impacted you that okay, Germany is way better than this, or any drawbacks that Germany is facing right now?
I wouldn't tell that it is again for me from a personal side, right? So I always felt that every culture gives an opportunity, right? So there are
Yes.
differences between every culture. So as I told, one of the things is this work-life balance, right? So for me,
Mm-hmm.
it was the positive side, but on the negative side, that means basically that for you to get into the personal side of another person is actually also a
Mm-hmm.
difficult thing. So this
Okay.
is actually the difference actually. So on one side, or the positive note is like you as a person feel that okay, fine, you get enough of a personal life, but this means
Mm.
that if you have to get a friend within Germany, right? If you want to get a German friend, right? It's never that
Yes.
easy. So getting into their circle actually takes a lot of time. So it is not that they are very hard-minded or something of that sort. It is always because that is their nature. So for them, they
Yes.
have personal life by themselves. So in India, for example, we are always used to that. The people whom you work with, right, more
Yeah.
or less is your best friends at that point of time.
Yes.
So you just move along with them so much. But
Mm-hmm.
here, the people whom you may work with in this one, at the end of the day, after that 5 o'clock job, they go into a completely different circle of their own. They have their own ferines, they have their own circles. They will not get you involved there until and unless you get very close to that, right? So this is
Okay.
actually a bit of a cultural shock, in the sense that when I
Okay.
initially came down, I felt that okay, fine. Why is it that people are not actually bringing us into their groups, right? So, but
Yes,
the
sir.
more and more you interact and the more and more they like to be with you,
Mm-hmm.
then you can slowly get into their circle. And this
Okay.
applies even to the professional network also, right? So Germany, if you see, actually, I can brief you a good example, right? In India, for example, you have a 6 month probation period, right?
Yeah.
In your industry, every industry has a 6 months probation period. Germany also has the same thing. India,
Same
it is
thing.
more or less like 6 months is primarily they use it just that, okay, fine. Yeah, fine. If in case we can still keep the guy, we just keep it there and go ahead, right? So probation is
Okay.
not that strict in India. But the same thing
Yes.
in Germany, it is very strict with respect to probation. They really use this time to see this candidate, if this candidate is fit for the company's future, right? So then only they will actually go for it. So it is
Okay.
very important for you as a professional to also to really showcase what is your talent, which means
Mm-hmm.
including to your manager, you almost needs to take 6 months to actually make and convince them that you are a right fit, right? So
Okay.
even in the professional ground, you need to actually make once you get into their trust circle, then it is much easier for you.
Okay. As we are in the provisite topic, can you give us any suggestions that what are we have to make sure that we shouldn't follow these rules when we are in provisite, and we have to follow these rules as most of the people don't know, right? They will do some small mistakes, and that leads to the termination of contract in the 6 months of probation only. So can you give us any tips for regarding this?
Sure. So because been a senior role in that aspect, so I
Yeah.
had supported a lot of colleagues actually into that. So the main thing for us is always to do our best. I think that is completely upon us to give the best, right? So to give the best for the job. So and to always do the learning part, right? And these two are the things which we can do always from our side. And what we should do is to take continuous feedback from your superiors. So this is
Okay.
actually helping you. So, like for example, what I generally do with my people who is joining me, or even when I join a new company, is like every uh, basis. So, for example, if it is a newbie, a completely
Mm.
fresher joining in, I will always suggest that you take a weekly kind of thing, right? So, have a weekly with
Okay.
your superiors who is actually working with you, closer with you. Take feedback from them, right? So how
Okay.
can I improve? Is there some improvement topics for you? So this gives them a feeling that you are willing to actually take that extra mile.
Yes.
Never wait and expect that they will come and give us feedback
Mm-hmm.
and do things, right? So sometimes it can be that things are going bad, and if you're not taking that feedback, that means at the end things will get worse. So it's always
Okay.
better that at least on a monthly basis, right? Minimum on a monthly basis, talk to them, understand what is going through them, and also to understand how you can make yourself better for them. Maybe you will do something wrong. So the community in Germany is also good in that way that even if you do some silly mistakes or anything of that sort, people give you a second chance. So
Yes.
there are very rare scenarios where I've seen that, okay, fine, even if you're doing a small mistake, they will just ask you to leave. No, that doesn't happen here. They give you
Okay.
that full 6 months, and so always take feedback.
Yeah. Okay. And I have an actually very curious doubt. Now I think you're the right person to ask. Is it really helpful if we take a sick leaves in the provisite period? I mean, we know that German had a very good sick leaves compensation and everything, but is it a good idea to use the sick leaves compensation in the period of provisite?
So two aspects there, right? One is taking sick leaves during proboscite is allowed as per law.
Okay.
Nobody can block you. But again, see, the aspect what you need to consider is also to the thing that, okay, does this prevent you from showing? So 6 months is a time in which you have to show to the company that you are worth enough for their future, right? For your future as well as
Yes.
their. So it's always, if in case, so this works with this way, right? So I can quote you with an example. So I had a colleague actually who was working in my team. So he
Mm-hmm.
joined. So he was working for 3 months and then he had to immediately go off for a sick leave. So
Okay.
which was again 2 3 weeks, right? So again, personally, I understood the situation. So of course he was transparent in giving me the idea that this is what he's going in for an operation. And then what
Mm.
we had to do is, like, when he came back, technically we had to extend his probation for 2 more months.
Okay.
So this actually allowed us to actually evaluate it further, as well as then to get his confirmation done, right? So it is always, there is nothing wrong in that. But if you are having a
Mm.
fever or 1 or 2 days of sick leave, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
But again, if you do a continuous practice like that, right? So and even if you are knowingly or unknowingly doing it, that actually gives always a good impression, bad impression with the other person. So with your manager.
Okay.
So
Yes.
that is the only thing which I would avoid. And again, sickness is actually a different myth in Germany. So if you're sick and if you have a home office option where you can work, then use that option.
Okay.
Germans see that, for example, if you're sick and if you go to office, they don't like that culture as well, right?
Uh,
Because they feel that, because here is an insurance-based system actually. So your health insurance is very strong. So the health insurance itself promotes that if you're sick, stay at home, right? So never
okay.
go to office, because basically you are then spreading the sickness. So
Yes.
they believe that a community is bigger than an individual person. So that is the reason why the health system is still good, that you go to a doctor, he will immediately sign you a 1 week of leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Ah,
it's because
yes.
of that.
Okay. So we have
Again,
to use
coming
this.
back to the topic,
Yes.
try to avoid as much possible. If it is
Yes.
necessary, of course, you should have it. This is
Okay.
allowed per law.
Okay. But not more than a 3 days continuous sick leave days. It.
So generally, every company has its own policies, but in a standard, it is like the first 2 days you are allowed to take without a doctor certificate. From the third
Okay.
day onwards, you need to provide a sick leave certificate to the company.
Okay. Thank you. Again, I was repeating, is there any questions from you guys also? Please either raise or have a thumbs up or make an initiate and ask. This podcast is for all of us to clear our doubts when we are coming to Germany or after coming to here. We always have a doubts regarding the market of Germany. So this will be a useful time to ask as a senior person. Okay. So again, back to the your Germany lifestyle. So what actually made you to have a long-term plan? I mean, before coming to Germany, you thought of, okay, I want to settle in Germany, or after coming to Germany, you made a think of, okay, I'll settle in Germany.
Um, I mean, there is this dilemma which always runs in our minds, right? So at the end of the day,
Okay.
we are all Indians by nature. That means basically that there is always a hardcore somebody inside you which tells that, okay, let's go back, right? So uh,
Yes.
I also started the same way. So it is basically like, okay, every 2 years, me and my wife used to review. Okay, let's
Mm,
go back in another 2 years, right? So that just continues. That 2 years just goes on, because on one side, I think the life here is pretty smooth when compared to that rush lifestyle in India.
okay.
Uh, but on the contrary, when the children grow up, so for me now for the last 6 to 8 years, I haven't thought about moving back, at least in the next 5 10 years. Of course, in the future,
Okay.
maybe in the age of 55 or 60, I want to go back. But with
Okay.
children, I got a feeling that, okay, fine. My daughter was born here, son was born here. So I was like,
Oh,
okay, it is me who has put them into that trouble, right? So it is basically that they have come in, they have learned the language, they have adapted to the local system, everything. So
yeah.
they are now in this system, and now plucking them from here and putting them in India back, it's not easy
Yes.
for them. So
Yes.
so that
I
is
mean,
the
they
reason
feel like
for me.
how we feel from we came from India and settling here, so they will feel like they are born here, brought up here, and after going to they feel India like a foreign country. I think so,
Yeah.
right?
No, but I think they are also well integrated there. But I think
Okay.
this is sometimes also the same thing, right? The life in India actually is in a very good big pace actually when compared to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if I see my professional life as such, right? So maybe from a salary perspective, I wouldn't tell that Germany is still the hottest place or something. So, for example, India, you may get better salaries actually. So, if I compare to my peers actually, or to my other colleagues who have worked together with me, I wouldn't tell that my salary is better than theirs or something. So actually, in India,
Okay.
you get salaries which is at par actually with Germany or with any other foreign countries these days. So
Mm-hmm.
India as a market is actually really good. But again, what
Oh,
is making the big difference for me is this work-life balance part, right? So basically, in India, when I go in, let's imagine I work for a German company. I need to work in
okay.
the time zone of a German company, right? So basically, because with senior roles, you always end up in the time zone where you have to work with that. So that means basically I work at from 12 o'clock from there till 8:30,
Okay.
9 o'clock. So that means that will shatter my normal work life as such. So, and this was something which I didn't want to do.
Okay. Yeah. Um, okay, the next question is how different is German work culture compared to India or Canada at a senior leadership levels?
It completely depends on the aspect of where your powerhouse is. So let's imagine,
Okay.
um, like I was working with a company named Allianz. So
Yeah.
Allianz is an insurance company headquartered in Germany, so in Munich.
Um,
So the thing is, if in case you're working for such a company, the
mm-hmm.
the all the power as such, the decision making is all based in that particular headquarters. So the
Okay.
more you are closer to that, the more you have actually the power. So, for example, the CEO for example, our Allianz unit in India has lesser
Mm-hmm.
power to maybe a department level guy, kind of guy who is sitting here as like me, like as a normal executive over here. So that all completely depends on actually how close you are to the decision makers.
Okay.
So that is one of the major differences which I always felt. It in a decision making model, if you have very close connect to your decision makers, that actually changes the game.
Okay.
Again, this is something which I personally felt, right? So every like for example, many of my colleagues in the different levels feel it completely differently. They feel that they have individual
Yes, yes.
thoughts. But I would always see that okay, this it is it's the more you are close. So at the end of the day, what you guys have to do is from a professionalism level, right? Is always to see how do you build your network, right? So
Okay.
it is always about building your network. So the other people have to really notice you. So it is not about you doing good work. It is
Mm,
about other people noticing your good work, right? So that is how you slowly start as a starting employee to growing
yeah.
into leadership. So the leadership means it is like the exposure you get with other senior leaders within the organization. This is very important.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I get it is that networking plays a very key role in the job market, right?
Yeah.
How much, even for the referrals or references from the other companies or any skill knowledge also, with the networking only we can know, gather more, much knowledge, right?
Correct. So it is like always try to expand your, I mean, skill in that way, right? So basically, because I have a lot of colleagues actually who is hesitant to talk to another person because they don't know, for
Yes.
example, what is how what is the skill set that they have, what do they like to talk, and all these things, right? So here I would simply tell that okay, fine, sometimes it is better you break yourself and just go to the other person and talk, right? So sometimes he can be from India or he can be from Mexico. There can be something simple things which you can interestingly ask and to learn from that person, whether it be
Okay.
professionally, whether it be actually culturally also. So never
So,
hesitate actually to learn.
okay, so even for like some people, like there are some people who are very hesitating about asking for any referrals in even in the LinkedIn. Sometimes LinkedIn suggests us to have more networking, so it will help you with the reference. Can you please help us how to actually grow the networking in the job market, in like in what are the platforms will be useful for us to develop our networking?
So in Germany, primarily Zing and LinkedIn are the main things which I have been using. Uh,
Okay.
I know students have certain kind of networking options as well. So at this, I don't have it right away, but I know colleagues who has been using those kind of networking within your universities or within the different student communities. But primarily in Germany, also Zing and LinkedIn are the main things.
Mm,
So here it is. There can be there are networking events which happen within areas itself. Like for example, in Munich, there are a lot of networking events which happens. So it includes normal expat networking events, also all these things. So I mean, I would suggest that just get into something, right? So just get going.
okay.
Never think that okay, I would have a technical skill set which I want to bring in, right? So it is only about
Yeah.
meeting people and to see how different other people are.
Okay. So, I mean, like, as I'm a new to Germany, so uh, is it better for me to go to any career, like a career places, like any some yeah, like a career events happening anywhere? So, is it a good suggestion for me to go and attend this and see what other companies are going on, or is just stick in the house and just focus on the LinkedIn and Zing is better?
No, 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 no. Always go out, right? So go out, see what the market is offering, and
Yes.
what are your challenges in getting that thing, right? So basically, if you see, actually, Germany is still actually in that angle conservative with the language part. So
Yes.
even though I have always worked on international projects and all the things, so I have a lot of German colleagues actually in my team. And
Okay.
whenever we go for conducting an interview, I know for sure that my positions are actually fully international, right? So language is not a
Okay.
barrier. I put it into my interviews, but
Okay.
they stick to that. Okay, they want somebody who has German skills as well, or at least that enthu to learn the language, so that
Okay.
from team perspective they can still manage it, right? So still
Yes.
have that thought. So that is the reason why I would tell that okay, invest time on the language. So this is one of the places where I think a lot of students who come down still fail
Mm-hmm.
because basically language they doesn't cope up with the language. It is not about technical
Yeah.
skills. It's also about communication. So invest a little bit on the language, and
Okay.
always never be taken back when, for example, you are attending an interview and the interviewer tells that okay, you are not fit for the role, right? So because basically it is the same like how marriages, right, in India. So for arranged marriages, you go for 10, 20 things, and then only you find
Yes.
final thing. So it's the same thing. It's not about the rejection. It is about all the things, all the experience that actually you build up. So
Yes. Yes.
never hesitate or never sit in office. Computers are the ones who can give you a lot of information, but the people around you whom you meet are the ones who can give you a different perspective.
Okay. Okay. So, as we are in the topic of language, is the language a compulsory requirement? Is in when you are coming starting off a Germany life, or is it recently became a like a very important skill, language skill had become into the market?
I would tell that now it has actually gotten better. So when I was telling, right, in 2004 when I came into Germany in Düsseldorf,
Okay.
people were really hesitant to talk the language of English.
Ah,
So
okay.
they told me right away on the face. For example, when I went for a gym membership, they told me right away onto the face that okay, we don't talk English.
Ah,
You
okay.
study German and come, then we will give you a membership here.
Oh,
Which
okay.
was fair. Which was fair. I think at that time,
Yes.
that is like see, I can take it as a negative thing and tell that okay, it is racism. But again, I am in their country, not talking
Yes.
their language. So I take it as a positive influence to me that this is important for them, right? So sometimes it's a give and take, right? So we are
Mm.
in this country for a better, better professional possibilities, opportunities, and all the things. And when they are expecting us, like learn our language as well, right? So I think
Yes.
if you see, actually, if we now go to Bangalore, also we have the same challenges.
Yes. True.
So, so that is the thing. So language is actually pretty important. Now, if you actually see me, there are a lot of companies who is telling that okay, we will hire. English speaking candidates. Like, for example,
Hmm.
Adidas is there. So at least in my circle, I know Adidas, for example, Allianz, for example, uh, uh,
Okay.
Biostuff. There is a company known as Biostuff who is actually the one for Nivea. So
Okay.
there are a lot of companies who actually take actually English speaking professionals. But again, see, the thing is, you can increase your possibilities if you know the language.
Okay.
So you can
Uh,
bring bigger scales.
okay. Yes, Satya, please, as you raise it, you want to ask something.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Maybe like first, let me introduce myself. I'm
Yes.
Satyamurthy Ranganathan. So I work for a company in Germany. I work for Kyoba Technologies. So my background is basically I'm a mechanical engineer, and then I also studied a master's in business law, and also I have close to like 10 years of work experience in product development, and also now I'm working in supply chain management. I have some
Oh,
questions
wow.
regarding. Yeah, thank you. I have some questions regarding establishing a business in Germany. I saw your profile, and it's really so nice that you also have a very good career profile, and also you are also a co-founder in in a business. So my first question is like when you thought about like starting a business in Germany, like how what do you think? Like how easy Germany is it when it comes to starting new businesses? I mean, in three ways, with respect to financially, and also legally, and also personally. Like, what are your thoughts about it?
No, I would simply tell that, Satya, in that angle, I think the opportunities as such is the same in India as well, right? So,
Mhm,
of course, I think the scale can be little different because India had 1.4 million and sorry, billion, and here it is millions that we are talking about. But otherwise, I think from an opportunity perspective, this country still has a lot of opportunities.
mhm.
Again, the challenge as such is also the language, because
Okay.
when starting, and especially something which is localized of a product for Germany, I think language is a bit of a this one. But again, you can supplement it by using help with respect to using a lawyer or anything of that sort for doing that. So it
Mhm.
depends on what kind of industry you are targeting into. So, like for
Okay.
example, if you're getting into an IT industry, right? So
Mhm,
then language is not much of a barrier because setting up things is much easier with an IT industry.
mhm,
And this was my experience as well. So when I got into a restaurant industry,
mhm.
it is much different because here you have to talk with more blue collar populations and all the things which where language is a bit more on the barrier side. And
Okay.
what we need to be only aware with respect to what is different from India is actually Germans for that case, and with respect to companies and the mandate for the companies, right? So they are very strict with that.
Mhm.
So this, especially with respect to taxation and all the things are very strict over here. So
Okay.
that is one advice which I would always have is always that always make sure that you can do things by yourself. For example, in the accounting field, let's
Mhm,
imagine I have this restaurant and I have for the accounting, I can take care of things by myself. But
mhm.
it is always sometimes to keep better have an accountant taking care of that,
Okay.
right? Because this country has more paperwork than any other countries in the world.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree to it. Um, yeah, with respect to businesses, like what are the sectors do you feel are easy to, start businesses in Germany? I mean, just your thoughts on a
I
very
it,
high level.
it depends on your skill set and your exposure to the things, right? So, for
Mhm,
example, coming from my background, I was always into the IT industry. So my initial thought was always that okay, fine, let's do something on the IT side, right? So that is where I didn't want to start a company by myself in the sense that an IT service provider company by myself.
mhm.
Primarily because this was something which was explored, and I can in my industry itself I can see that okay, how much is HCL or Infosys or Cognizant trying to push in.
Mhm.
And within my direct line of work itself, I can see that okay, fine, how cheap are they coming down with, right?
Okay.
So I didn't find that there was something of a big influence for me. But here, what I did was I actually had a different approach that I was supporting many other second tier companies. Like there were many other companies who were doing their IT services
Mhm.
and they didn't have a branch in Germany, right? So we were actually then supporting them because they were big within US, for example, and they
Mhm.
had international clients in Germany. who wanted to then have local consulting candidates and all of it. So we used to support them in setting up those units and to help them drive on that unit. So this was something which was easier for me as well to learn to see that what is the thing. And now with, or even for the restaurant concept, so this was more coming from my partner. So basically, we are business partners. So I have a business partner. So he is more having a passion for food.
Okay.
And then we were building up this one. And what we wanted to always see is like what makes me different, right? So there can be either I need to build a product which is actually very niche for the market, or if I'm getting into a generic thing, what makes me completely different.
Okay.
So otherwise, you are just one among them.
That's right. Yeah.
So you need to always see that sweet spot where you feel that okay, this is what makes me the difference, and this is what will make me succeed.
Okay. But is it really possible to start a business and establish a business in Germany without much support from many? For example, in India, it's so easy, right? Like we have our parents, we have our relatives, we have like so much of our friends to support us. But when it comes to Germany, like it's entirely different, right? Like we would have just few friends, and probably like some of them might be Germans, and even if they are Germans, like they would not know that much stuff because our interests may be different, and they also would not be able to help us that much. So in that case, what do you think about it? Like, do you think that it's possible to establish a business in Germany without much support from much people?
Again, it depends on the businesses, right? So it depends on so like the previous one which I was telling about on the IT side, right? So it is basically like for me generally, apart from like 9 to 5 job, it was actually only spending 2 hours on a daily basis, maybe in front of a computer for setting things up, right?
Okay.
But now with this restaurant, it is in a completely different scale. So this is here. It is more than mental labor; it is physical labor, right? So it is like there you need support.
Okay.
That's where you need to actually see around, and it is never easy. As you told, since we don't have an ecosystem which is actually a set of relations or anything which is supporting here, it's sometimes you may have to really struggle and to really find it out. But again, I wouldn't tell that it is a very difficult path, right? So I would tell that okay, fine, this is you as a person willing to see that okay, how do you want to get it through? But it's all a bit about a try.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And one more thing is, with respect to citizenship, what do you think? Like, what kind of role the German citizenship plays when it comes to establishing businesses here? Do you really think that like for example, there are so much visa statuses here, right? Like there are many of the working professionals who are in blue card status, like some are with working job permit. Does German citizenship is kind of like really a mandatory thing to start a business here, and what kind of role does it play?
Technically, I wouldn't. If you ask me, I won't see a big difference between the Niederlassung, which is the permanent resident, and the citizenship. There is not much of a difference actually. So, but of course, I think the permanent residentship has a better advantage than any of the other things, basically because if you are a blue card holder who is actually the main holder, then basically you're binded with a company and you have certain limitations to what kind of jobs you can do. So, for example, you cannot actually go and freelance yourself. So you need to work with the company itself. So there are certain limitations with the normal visas when you come in, right? So but then once you get into the Niederlassung, which is actually the permanent residency, so here it is much easier for you. You can go and register yourself as a freelancing consultant. You can continue your work. You can actually do things on the side. So there are a lot of possibilities with that one. So the initial days in Germany is never that easy. But I think once you get established, then once this, especially with this Niederlassung, you have a much better feasibility. Again, from a taxation or from any other perspective, I see it is all the same with the German citizenship as well.
Okay. Yeah. My last question. So, I mean, I don't want to take much of the other time as well.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My question is, what are the major things which one needs to keep in mind before even think of starting a business in Germany? Because it's not so easy, right? Like when we can also I mean, it's not the first thing is that it's difficult, and also the second thing is that, let's say, like somebody starts a business, they put on so much money financially. Uh, they earn. I mean, it's kind of like the savings, right? I mean, it's not like we give it a try and then let's see how it works or something like that. So if somebody starts a business, then which means they have to. There's no plan B or something like that, right? They should make it successful because there's so much effort involved. There's so much financially money involved, and all those stuffs are there. So yeah, for those people, what are the things which they need to keep in mind before they start a business, or like before or when they even think of starting a business in Germany?
So my advice always would be, first, I think you need to understand always the rules and regulations in the country which you are operating, right? In Germany, if you're starting something, always check what are the rules and regulations which is affecting that particular industry which you're getting into.
Mhm.
So this is one of the main things. So basically now with a lot of tools like ChatGPT and all the other things, it is much easier for you to actually to get a good view of what is the market is about. One is the market, and the second is the main thing which I always tell is like the regulations around it, right? So what are
Mhm.
the kinds of checks that they will do, all these things. So never underestimate that one.
Okay.
So invest the time in understanding that market first.
Mhm.
Of course, built on the capabilities of the market. So I understand the market, and always see that you have enough financials to back it up, right? So it is not about the day you are starting.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I always think that, okay, at least for the 6 months, you need to have enough funding to
Mhm.
actually invest onto that. Never
Okay.
think that the first month you will get actually profits out and you can actually start reaping the benefits. No, I would see that at least any kind of businesses takes at least 6 months to actually to stabilize.
Mhm.
So always ensure that you have that perseverance to keep it running for that 6 months
Okay.
and believe in it, right? So that is the main thing. So if you have an ideology and if you have a concept, believe in it, and you have to, then you will push it through. There will be a lot of challenges which will be coming for you, and
Okay.
especially when you are working and then running it, ensure that you give at that time at least on a daily basis as an investment for that company.
Okay.
And another advice which I can give is like, I know, for example, a lawyer or an accountant for that case is
Mhm.
always something which is costly, right? So they charge us sometimes €100 per hour and all the things. But sometimes it is worth it,
Mhm.
right? So it is like always an initial investment which you have to make. But
Okay.
just always see that, okay, the knowledge that you get from all these things is also good enough, right? So uh, this will actually really help you in setting up things in a very proper way.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Benai. Thanks,
Uh,
Krishna.
thank you.
And one
May
more
I
thing,
know?
one thing which I forgot,
Yes.
Satya. So one
Mhm.
of the things which is very important actually is always finding a mentor.
Okay.
So mentorship is actually very important, because never think that the people will not be willing to actually share their knowledge with you. It is actually a myth which we have. That is
Mhm.
also going to the first one, right? Always be willing to ask people how their journey was,
Mhm.
and if they can support you in their journey by giving guidance, right?
Mhm.
So there are a lot of, I won't tell that even people in Germany need to be there. See in your industry, whatever you're getting into, right?
Mhm.
Talk with people from India or any other part of the world, how their journey is,
Mhm.
right? So they will be always willing to, so the modern business industry is always good in the sense that they are willing to share.
Mhm.
So always never be hesitant to actually to reach out to people and ask for support
Mhm. Mhm.
and guidance.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Vinay. I
Okay.
appreciate your feedbacks, and I'm for sure like it would help so much of us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, as we are in the business, I want to ask is how much the marketing actually plays a role in the business when we start a business? Because most of the people who start the business, they ignore marketing and they mostly involve on the other strategies, right? Or is the marketing actually plays an important role in business?
Always, always. I think marketing, any form of industry and
Mm-hmm.
business, marketing plays a very crucial role actually. So
Okay.
it's like just imagine. So I have together with my partner, we have built this restaurant. So the
Mm-hmm.
initial thought for us was always that we want to be unique with respect to only serving Kerala dishes, right? So basically, that is
Okay.
our thought. So because there are hundreds of other Indian restaurants in Germany, what makes us different is like we are the only one who in all over Germany who is actually only serving authentic Kerala. So we don't have any
Okay.
chicken masala or anything of that's in our menu. We have only the standard Kerala items, right?
Okay.
This is one of the things, right? So now how do you penetrate it to the other world, right? So basically, this my restaurant is well known to the Kerala community because they know that okay, if I want Kerala food, I need to come here. Now
Okay.
there is a next step, right? So how do I make Germans aware or the Europeans
Mm.
around me aware that okay, what is Kerala? How is
Yes.
Kerala food and all these things, right? This is where marketing comes into a big place. So
Mm.
like we took almost like 6 months for us to stabilize ourselves with the operations
Okay.
and for me, I don't have restaurant business in my profession or
Yes.
in my bloodline, right? So basically, I had to actually get in together. So me and my partner had to actually invest hell a lot of time to understand
Okay.
this business and to actually get into this because it is not about a passion for food. It is like
Yes.
you scaling up from whatever you are building for. You have made it for maybe to 10 people
Mm-hmm.
to 500 people. So this is what is the scale that you have to make in actually. So we invested a lot to initially to stabilize this, and now what we are seeing is how do we increase that thing with marketing, right? So you need to increase that reach within people, and this is what
Mm-hmm.
marketing does. And in the modern world, social media marketing is one of the major things. So
Okay.
what
Yeah.
we tried the different other marketing methods as well, like putting
Mm.
hoardings in different parts of Munich or something of that sort. But what
Okay.
we felt is that the highest impact is actually with Instagram and TikTok, for example. This
Oh.
is where the highest, as of today, I think the highest impact is with these two.
Okay.
So it do plays a big importance. So because there is a lot of community actually which is flocking to these social media platforms, and
Mm-hmm.
when they notice it, then they actually want to come and try it out.
Okay. As you said, it is a yeah, your restaurant is a Kerala cuisine, as which is very completely different of the food market. Like all we know about Indian restaurants, that paneer butter masala, chicken butter masala, and yours is a Kerala cuisine. In the starting of your restaurant, how what are the challenges you're facing? And you want to suggest that like these are the challenges will be again and repeated even if you start another restaurant also. Can you share with us?
So it is like one is getting the place, right? So it was basically like the first thing what we did was so what my partner used to do is like we used to run it as a cloud kitchen. So
Okay.
he was able to judge the market well with this cloud kitchen. So the idea was like he used to rent a kitchen on the weekends, and we used to cook this Kerala special biryanis and all the things. And we had a community who was actually then pre-ordering things, and we used to deliver it.
Okay.
So we continued it for almost 1.5, 2 years, and then we understood that okay, there is a good market within Munich, for example. So at least in our Kerala community, then we
Mm-hmm.
were like, okay, now is the time for us to scale and to really see that okay, how do we build that influence within the German community? They also have to know our cuisines, right? So
Yes.
this is when we started looking for a restaurant, right? So and what we figured out was again coming from an IT background, looking for something at a restaurant, it was something very completely different experience for me. So we figured out that Germans would like to eat Indian food, but they wouldn't like to give their places for rent for Indian restaurants,
Oh,
uh, which was normal because basically because of the smell, the amount of smell
oh
which is
yes.
from our spices and all the things. And if you see most of the restaurants, they will have apartments on the top layers, right? So and
Yes.
Germans, as such, are not, especially the residents, are not that happy when an Indian restaurant comes in. So this is one
Okay.
of the reasons why you find a lot of Italian restaurants and less of actually Asian restaurants in Germany. But now it is changing. But
Oh,
that thought process is actually because of that. At least we had to spend close to 8 months to figure out space. So
okay.
we went around at least 50 to 60 places.
Mm,
Uh, and even if
okay.
we liked 10 to 15 of them, the owners were never willing to give us their space. So this was
Oh,
a right. So this was the first thing. But and even if I now want to scale to a different space as well, I think the same challenge happens.
okay.
And the other things are all most of the learnings which we used to have. So it is basically that, okay, how do we market ourselves, how do
Mm-hmm.
we build a network, and the second the other thing is like with respect to accounting, all these things. So this one's, I think this is a one time learning, and
Okay.
then I think we can just scale on that. But this initial setup of finding the space, uh, and finding your that sweet spot is the one which will actually always be there.
Okay. So, I mean, in the business field, most of the people, if they don't see any profits in the 1 year or at least in the time duration of 1 year, most of the people want to give up and they will thinking of closing or selling the restaurant concept. So, have you ever thought like that? And what actually motivated you continue?
For me, the good part was like one. I think it was more of a fashion business, right? So for me, that was more of a,
Okay.
so basically, there was a good time in which I was actually always investing from. Both of us were more investing from our main income also into this one, right? So it is
Okay.
like this passion coming true, right? So that is what we wanted to, and
Mm-hmm.
it this is where I always feel it is about the concept which you're building, right? So it is basically what makes you different from others, and how do you market
Mm-hmm.
it to the outside community, right? So this is
Okay.
what is the main difference. So if people feel that there is a difference in whatever you are doing, then they will
Mm-hmm.
come to you. So for me, the main things which I wanted to focus was actually to serve authentic Kerala food. Uh,
Okay.
didn't care what a German used to eat in a normal Indian restaurant. So they used to get a lot of 1 to 10 spice levels and all the things for every dish, which I told I will not give. I'll give whatever is the spice levels in Kerala. Right. So only thing is that I offered them, if you don't want to eat spicy chicken curry, try the kurma of the chicken,
Uh,
right? Or this one. So I used to give them variants, which is actually it's only a single blend. So if an Indian
okay.
comes and eats the same curry, it is the same thing. So that
Oh,
way, I just gave them that, okay, fine. Our biryani is this spice. I cannot make it more spicier or less spicier.
okay.
So I'm just following whatever we have actually built for a Kerala thing inside Kerala. So and we just replicate actually the same festival rounds, everything whatever Kerala has. So this
Yes.
made me actually feel that, okay, fine. This is a very unique thing which we are doing,
Oh,
and the good part is also that the Indian communities are actually increasing over here in Germany. So I personally see that maybe in 5 years we will be the next US or something of that sort in that line.
yeah.
So
We can see that slowly the Indians have been the population is growing up slowly in Germany.
yeah, and the thing is like sometimes you need to experiment, right? So that is the thing.
Hmm.
So partner was good in the sense that he was experimenting the market for the first 2 years with a very limited scale of
Mm-hmm.
doing this cloud kitchen. So that experimenting
Okay.
phase is actually very important before you actually hugely go into and invest into something of a restaurant or anything of that sort and then fail.
Yeah. Okay. And I want to ask you, is there any thought process behind the Spice Route title?
So if you know the words, so this was also more coming from my partner itself, right? So it was basically that the thought for us was spice route. If you remember, this is actually how the spice used to flow between different countries or the continents. So spice
Okay.
route was actually coming from Malabar. So
Mm-hmm.
from India, it is actually this place of Kerala known as Malabar, which is actually famous for spices. And this was the one which was then coming into Arabia and then to Europe.
Okay.
So this was actually
Okay.
an old route. So the name is actually from a spice trading route uh,
Okay.
of how spices were taken from India to Europe.
Oh, wow. That's actually a very good, and there is really a good story behind the title, I think.
Yeah.
That's really nice. So again, back to for the students, on behalf of students, I want to ask some questions. Can you give us any suggestions for the newcomers or students who are coming to Germany or who came recently to Germany? What are the best suggestions would you give to them regarding the part-time job searching?
Yeah. So here again, I have a lot of colleagues who actually work together with me in my restaurant as well, right? So so in a good angle, I have good contacts with student community.
Okay.
I know that some with respect to getting a degree or finding a place for a university in Germany, you actually spend a lot of money actually or take loans when you come here, right? But
Yes.
again, this is what I felt is like maybe once the colleagues actually come here, they are more focused on actually getting a job and seeing that, okay, fine, how can I earn some euros and get it back to India and to finalize my loans. I completely understand that thought actually, right? But sometimes what I feel is like once you come here, you need to actually also see if you can actually get a working student or an internship within bigger companies within
Mm-hmm.
the line of work which you are doing, right? So it is or which you are studying. So this will
Okay.
actually really help you to boost your careers than actually looking for a volt or any of that thing. So I won't tell that okay you shouldn't actually work for your living or something. It's not my intention as well, but actually always
Yes.
give price with respect to getting working student positions as well as internship for in your line of studies. This will actually really help boost your career in Germany
Mm-hmm.
because this is important that you will get real-time work experience actually working in such positions actually. So
Yes.
always
Yes.
give higher preference for that things than actually working with
Uh,
Volt, Amazon, or anything of that sort.
yes. That's really actually a very nice suggestion that we really want to because even I came last year April and from then onwards I only concentrated on part time. I never thought of internship like you suggested. When now you are saying, I was thinking like, yeah, I really wasted time on part time. I never thought of internship, which can be helpful with the permanent position.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is always the give it the first priority all the time.
Okay. So for the viewers, please concentrate on the internship more than the part time, not like me. Okay. So, uh, is there anyone want to ask any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Satya again.
Okay.
Binoy, when it comes to the restaurant business, how much minimum capital do you think is required to start a restaurant business in one location in Germany? Because it's different, right? Like in India, the calculations could be different, and here it could be entirely different.
This completely depends on the business line itself, Satya. So the thing is that if it is setting up a company, it is only about setting up a company, right? So there are different forms of companies in Germany. Like it starts with Einzelunternehmen, then
Mhm.
you can have a partnership, then you can also have a limited company setup. So generally, based on so if you just have to do it as an Einzelunternehmen, like for example, you as a freelancer kind of thing want to do it, so
Mhm.
simply you can just walk in into the corresponding, I mean, they call it as KVR here, or they call it as Gewerbemeldung.
Mhm.
So there you can just, where you register your business and you just go in and pay 25 or 30 euros and then you are good to start, right?
Okay. Mhm.
So, and again, the second step is again dependent on the kind of businesses, right? So for example, even in the restaurant business, if I can tell you, it
Mhm.
completely depends on the space. So sometimes what happens is like, if you're going into a restaurant which is we're going to take over a restaurant which is actually an actually running restaurant,
Mhm.
what happens is like they will have a different model. They will tell that okay, based on the location, based on whatever is there in the kitchen, whatever is there in they want to do, they
Mhm.
will tell an ablose or a one-time amount which you have to settle with the previous tenant,
Okay.
right? So same like how you are going into a new house and the tenant tells that it was my kitchen. If you want to take the house, you have to take the kitchen along, right? So
Mhm.
then you agree with them a certain amount.
Mhm.
So this can be 100 or 150 plus or something of that sort,
Mhm.
and then you take that over. So it is basically
Okay.
then that thought of like it is also something which you can try out. Like for example, even for your uh, if you are planning to start any business, right? So let's imagine if you want to start an IT company,
Mhm.
you can just try seeing different places. For example, there are places where they tell that okay, office space is available, 20 euros per square feet.
Mhm.
So you can have 100 square feet area, which is then 2,000 to 20,000 euros, right? So basically, uh, you can then do a calculation by yourself and you can try
Mhm.
it out.
Okay.
Every businesses has its own difference. So in the previous one, for example, in the IT setups, which I've always used to was telling, it was much easier because the initial capital is only about forming a GmbH, which was I need to keep this 25,000 as the starting,
Mhm.
and then actually this is but then the capital I can use this capital for other things,
Mhm.
but I need to first register this company, which can actually which can be like 500 to 600 euros in the best case you can do it for
Mhm.
setting up the company.
Mhm.
But then setting up the infrastructure and all the things is individualistic for the project which you are building.
Okay.
So always start building a project plan and all the things, and a business case to
Mhm.
really see that how much do you really want to invest. And again,
Okay.
as I told once again, always keep a buffer, right? That is never about the initial money. I would always foresee that, think about at least 6 months of operations buffered in,
Mhm.
where you have to invest onto that. So always, because if you already plan that,
Mhm.
then the 6 months will not be that tough for you.
Okay.
Because at least for my case, all the businesses which I run, I ensure that there is this capital which is built in, which
Mhm.
makes me feel that okay, fine, at least financials, I don't need to think for it, right? So I can put my all my brain with respect to that into actually setting up the business and making it run,
Mhm.
right? So it is like a baby. So it is like one. It will not run on day one. So it is basically setting it up, and so this capital will ensure that this is one pain less for you for that six
Mhm.
months.
Mhm. Thanks, Binoy.
Okay. Um, it's almost time to closing. May I know if anyone have other questions? This is the right time to ask if you have any queries regarding the German job market or regarding business like Satya. Please take initiative and ask right now. Um, okay. So before closing, I want to actually had a rapid fire questions, a very three. Would you like to participate?
Why not? But before that, I mean, I know a lot of student communities there, right? And at least
Yes.
many of them are actually coming in newly to Germany, right? So there is actually a reality check which each of us has to always do. So
Okay.
at least from India, but I have seen a lot of students, especially in the younger ones, who is actually really fascinated with Germany, because there are a lot of actually agencies which promote that Germany is good,
Mm,
excellent, blah blah blah, all these things, which is good actually. I mean, and I would tell that this country is still good, right? But I think
okay.
we need to always do a reality check, right? So
Okay.
as I told, once you come down, focus on language, focus on
Mm-hmm.
integration, and
Okay.
focus on also getting to your line of work as much as possible, right? So this is the main
Okay.
three things which I would suggest, and never to be hesitant to ask for help. So
Okay.
there are people around you who will be willing to support.
Yes.
And you know the old age community with Indians, right? We are happy to give advice anytime you want. Only advice, right? So advice comes for free.
Okay.
No, but then
Like
again,
suggestion with the caution.
yeah. No, but this is so same thing which I told to Satya, right? So one of the major things in your career in the future is always to find mentors. So
Yes.
mentorship is actually a very good thing. So I mentor people as well as I am
Mm,
the mentee for many people. I take
okay.
mentorship from many people because for me, as being a mentor, actually, I also get an exposure towards what other people are facing problems, right, and to how to
Mm,
support them in that thing. So, and being part of a mentor community, I also get to know that okay, fine, this is how we can build communities and to get actually uplift our own people, right? And the second one is when I am acting as a mentee towards a mentor, they are teaching me a lot of new things which I have not been able to study so far. So
okay.
strong suggestion, at least with my career, this one, nobody told me about this when I started my career, but it is like never be hesitant to reach out to a senior person to ask for support with a mentorship. They will be
Okay.
willing.
Yes.
Now let's go for
Uh,
the rapid.
okay. Thank you. So Which countries you choose? Germany or Canada or India, and why?
Uh, Germany work-life balance.
You have to choose only one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Germany is work-life balance primarily because of the brain.
Okay.
India primarily because of the heart, because
Okay.
my heart lies there. So Canada never.
Well, only Germany or India, just.
Yes.
Okay. So leadership or hands-on work? Which one you choose?
Uh, Hands-on work. So
Okay.
because basically with almost 20 years, I have
Mm-hmm.
actually grown to leadership, and leadership actually gives you the feasibility that you are dependent on people to actually do this, right? So I have done enough of leadership that I can actually uplift people. But now it is like, for me, hands-on is basically doing something in like in the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
to really see that okay, together doing this is a fun,
Okay.
other than reading
Um,
reports on the leadership level. So
yes. But I think most of the people love, like me, like leadership.
that is the initial part, right? Once you grow into up, and after a long time, it is a bit boring.
Okay. Okay. Next, certificates or experience?
Experience,
Yeah. A
because
practical experience.
in the future that is what is going to count.
Okay. I mean, is the English only jobs is a myth or a reality in current job market?
No, it's a reality. There are a lot of
It's a real.
English speaking jobs, but again,
Okay.
as I told, this, let's imagine now Germany has a 30% English speaking jobs, right? That
Okay.
means you are still missing on that 70% because you don't know the language. So you
Mm.
already have that 30%, but if you actually get a language, you are that then on to 100%. So that is the main difference. It is not a myth
Yes.
that the companies are hiring English speaking jobs.
Okay. But can you suggest any platform that actively hiring for the English speaking jobs? I
I
can see
don't.
only LinkedIn currently, so that's it.
LinkedIn has positions where they actually publish in English itself. That means basically most of the positions they are open
Okay.
for English. But I know actually there were certain. I can actually later share with Ram or somebody how that links actually. So I know one
Okay,
or two
sure.
spaces where that is primarily for English speaking jobs.
Okay. And last final rapid fire question. One book or habit that shaped your leadership style.
Um, this I'm not much into books. I should admit it, right? So I'm not in.
Okay.
There was this one book which was impressing for me, which was like uh, a 1 minute manager.
1 minute?
Manage
Management.
1 minute manager.
Okay.
So this was actually
Okay.
an interesting read for me.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and again, I was my complete exposure is all about, and that is the reason why I told more than books. I believed in
Mm,
experience. So I'm an experience based leader. Than actually really looking into books or certificates.
okay. I mean, you can
It has
say we
helped me a
have
lot.
it also.
Yeah, it has helped me a lot. I don't tell that but it never worked for me because I didn't had actually the perseverance to spend my time to read one full book.
Okay, so you're not a complete a book person.
Yes. But
Okay.
what I always see is interested in the podcast, and what is actually is really helped me is actually, so I'm a bit of a culturally and a religious person in that angle. So
Okay.
so you will read a bit lot of Bhagavad Gita and all the things, and
Okay.
I actually translate many of the things how it can be used for management. So
Oh, okay. That's actually a good practice in life, I think.
one
A
of the,
spiritual practice.
yes, I think the
Yeah.
I think Krishna for that case is one of the biggest statesmen, right? So you look into that angle, then you can get it actually. So
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I hear many people say that many questions have been answered in the Bhagavad Gita. Is
no,
it
I wouldn't
really
tell that it
true?
is a religious thing or something. It is basically that
No, not a
with the thought
religiously.
around it, it is actually really
Okay.
good.
Okay.
So
I mean, not religiously, like any life questions, we can find the answers in the Bhagavad Gita book. Is it really true?
yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
good.
That's nice. Okay, now let's I I want to ask again, if you guys have any questions or anything, please take a initiate and ask now, as we will closing in few minutes. Okay. So the final closer question I want to ask, can you please give us the reality check of the current job market and a few suggestions of how to do the job searching and what are the even in the IT profession, the skills which are very demanding right now will be helpful for us to develop. It's a big question. Sorry.
And the job market, I think currently, I think at least what I've heard is like there are many reasons. I mean, because of the war and all the things, there are the job positions are coming down, right? So, but I would see it in a different angle. That okay, fine. If you have the right skills,
Mhm.
and in Germany, if you have language as not a barrier, I think you have sufficient positions. And of
Okay.
course, you can brush up your exposure towards the German job market always by doing internships and working student positions. So this actually, I have seen that people have really got in good. And again, my suggestion, right? If you get opportunities, multiple opportunities, always start your career with consulting. If you are into
Okay.
IT or any of the other things, always try to start your career with consulting. Try to, if you don't have an option, always go for industries. It's always
Okay.
good. There is a lot of exposure there, but the amount of exposure what you get with consulting is actually way far better than actually what you do with an industry. So
Okay.
industry gives you a cushion space where, for example, you can experiment a lot and all the things, but consulting actually pushes you to
Mm-hmm.
really go to the verge and to really deliver things. So the learning actually in your initial part of your career will be very high when compared to the other industry jobs.
Okay.
So this is always the thing which I tell even to my working students and interns as well. If they want to
Mhm.
start their career in a very good pace, then consulting is the best one actually.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. So I think and no one have any questions. Most of the questions I think I already answered, so I'm happy to ask those questions. And thank you so much for your time. As today is the weekend, and I know how restaurant will be quite busy with all. But thank you so much for your time and spending us with all the
We
questions.
have free time between 3 to 5, so it is always the case. So that was the reason why I asked around that. Okay, can you help me with 3 o'clock?
Yes. But I mean, you have a very short break. After 5 o'clock, you will again have a very busy day and a very long day, right? So thank you so much for that.
No, but that is sometimes the difference, right? So that, as I told, the IT industries which I had exposure to, it was always like
Yes.
between 8 to 10, I had to spend my time for that. But
Okay.
here it is like you are there. So you don't have Saturday, Sundays or something. So Satya, this
Yes.
is I don't know he's still there. So Satya, this is also
Yes, she
something
is
you
there.
take into account. If you are running something of a business, you don't have anything of a free time of yourself, right? So you don't have friends of yourself. So it is basically like it is a different world, right? So you need to actually give up a lot
Yes.
to chase your passion for that case.
Okay.
I think the personal life will be excluded when you are into the business.
I mean, it is a choice. It is a choice which you build
Yeah,
up.
that's right.
Mm.
But
It's very
maybe this is also an initial part, right? So once you stabilize, then you have much better things. But the thing is,
yeah.
maybe once you stabilize, then you have more interest toward than actually to going back to a circle of friends. Actually, so
Okay.
I think only after that we start to understand the real value of time, right? Like we would have less time, and then we have to prioritize whether we need to focus on this or focus on that, and then at the end of the day, we take some logical decision.
correct,
This one is
Yeah.
much better than the other.
correct.
Thanks, Vinay.
Okay. Thank you, Satya, being very active in this podcast.
No, I would say thank you so much for the community for organizing this, and it's really so nice. And for me, like, I mean, it's so valuable to interact with someone who is kind of like a front runner for us, right? I mean, he is already there and he has established his career, and he's also doing his business. So which means, basically for me, like when somebody is offering suggestions or advices or their real life experiences for free, I would be a person like who would sit and listen to it, because it's so invaluable. I would say nobody kind of like do that. If we just go and talk to somebody and ask them, tell what do you think, they would be like, why the heck I have to tell you, right? Because they
Yeah,
don't.
I think that Satya, maybe that is the misconception, right? So maybe you
Okay.
will make many people who are like that, but
Mhm.
again, never be hesitant to check out the other people as well, right? So basically, uh, this is my view, right? At the end of
Okay.
the day, you grow by making others grow,
Mm.
right? So this always keep in mind. I mean, and once I think you should be also willing to give that to the next set of people actually who is coming up. So
Absolutely, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
and again,
Okay.
I think for all of you, right? So if in case you need any support or anything of that sort, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn
Mhm.
or anywhere in the social media area. So just keep in touch.
That's so nice of
Okay.
you, Binay.
Thank you so much for this.
Hello, Binoy. Yeah, thank you so much. I have taken notes of it. Yeah, I from now on, I think you would be my inspiration because in some point of the time, I also want to start up something similar to you, but I'll also get in touch with you when I need some mentorship or something. But yeah, but not now, but in the future. But I have taken notes of whatever you have told. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for organizing this as well.
Thanks, Nikhilesh, sorry.
Thank you, Niklesh, for sharing your review. So now I want to continue with Ramakrishna, who is actually the idea behind this all meetings. So Ramakrishna, would you like to share something?
Yeah, first of all, thanks, Vinay. And I also understand like why you chose to agree to us uh, about this mentoring thing. So we also randomly mentored your restaurant two, three times, and then so it's good that you have advised many people to seek mentorship. And I also see that you are the ones who are also interested to give that. And so it was very valuable. I would say I was listening through the entire session, and I could also see that Satya, who could engage someone who actually wanted to help out someone who also wants to, let's say, travel a similar path through this interaction. So I'm really happy to see that in action. I'm also happy to see you very happy, explaining everything, and also to Krishna to take things forward with the like very, a lot of curiosity. So I think it was a very useful session, and yeah, thanks to both of you for spending your time. And yeah, thanks to the attendees. And just a piece of note to everyone is that this session is recorded, will be on YouTube. We'll also have a blog post thanks to Gemini, the recent AI thing.
Yeah.
So this will write an article about this, so which will be soon published by tomorrow. And then yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
But then
Thanks, everyone.
thanks Ram for this opportunity, and thanks to all of you. Right, I see Ashok also in the line, so I think you
Yeah.
guys have to interview him next time because he holds a very senior role, and he is one. He has always been one of my mentors all the time.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
So, hello, Mr. Ashok. Would you like to share something to us?
I don't have much to share, guys. I just got a message from my friend saying that Binoy is speaking, so I thought I would just get in and listen to him. It's always a pleasure to listen to him, and we both have discussed on various topics from probably I don't know the range is too much to speak now, but I thought let me just hear what he has got to say. But very interesting, very good program, and kudos to you
Okay.
guys for organizing things like this. Really
Indeed.
helps the community.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. Any suggestion for the newcomers of the or like job seekers like me?
I don't have any suggestions as such.
Okay.
I'm not somebody who can really speak about those kind of things.
Okay. But thank you so much for joining. And
Yeah, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
Good. Thank you guys then.
okay.
Have a good rest of the weekend and a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
everyone.
so much.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you
See you
so
all in the
much
next
for
one.
joining.
Bye.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye-bye.